the top, I want to admit that I've spent most of my career in the research laboratory, so I'm much more comfortable behind a microscope than a microphone. But what a fantastic...
Make you more comfortable, here you go.
Thank you, Howard. What a fantastic summit this has been. As I read the theme words, health and happiness, it's obvious to me, and I'm sure to you as well, that all of our presenters have made the world a better place by pursuing the combination of these two goals. I share that goal as well. Well, let me back up a little. In my career in biomedical science, I've spent many years learning what amounts to two basic truths. First, that the cell is the basis of all life. The human body is made up of cells and only cells and their products, our eyes, brain, muscles, our skeleton. For example, take a look at your hand. Look at your hand. It is completely covered with skin cells, and there are tens of thousands of them in every square inch. And along with all those skin cells in every square inch are an average of 650 sweat glands, 20 blood vessels, and more than 1,000 nerve endings. They're all cells, and they're all amazing. Second, I've learned that the most important things you can do to maintain healthy cells is number one, to provide them with the substances they need to thrive, nutrients. And number two, to help them avoid the substances that cause damage, toxics. From decades of working with cells in the lab, feeding them, encouraging them to grow, even infecting them with viruses so that we could use the cells to detect infectious diseases, I gained an intimate understanding of the inner workings of our cells. So much so that I wrote a book about my discoveries, Invisible Miracles. It became clear to me that the healthy cells are the basis for a healthy body. That means, of course, that unhealthy cells are going to inevitably result in an unhealthy body. Over years of culturing cells in the laboratory, establishing non-toxic environments, and developing optimal nutrition for them, I learned that there were only a limited number of things that the cells need to perform optimally. When you look at the periodic table of the elements, which includes all the elements that we know exist in our universe, the elements that were used to create our cells are these, and only these, which I call the life essentials. These are the elements that have been selected to create our cells and are essential to life. All the other elements that you see on that periodic table do not belong in the body. They only displace, interfere, inhibit, or poison natural metabolic pathways. Of the non-life elements that do not belong in the body, we know that the heavy metals are particularly toxic, like cadmium, tin, antimony, lead, and mercury tops that list. It's regarded by most scientists as the most toxic element on Earth. Its main target is the central nervous system, where it disrupts the structural and biochemical machinery of both neurons and their support cells, the astrocytes. But mercury isn't only a neurotoxin. It can poison every cell in the body. Lighter toxic metals like aluminum, arsenic, and nickel, or the toxic halogens such as fluoride and bromide, which displace precious iodine from our thyroid gland and other organs, are especially harmful. It's important to note that an alarming number of popular pharmaceuticals, ones that you may be taking, contain fluoride. Even much of our food that we eat today lacks many of the essential elements and introduces toxics into our bodies. Introduction of these non-life elements into our cells can have catastrophic effects. To help you see what I've been discussing, let's look at living cells reacting to substances found in food. The first clip is what a blood specimen looks like after a test subject has eaten a healthy lunch. Nice, rounded, mobile cells going about their business, the business of delivering oxygen to the furthest extremities of the body. The second clip is what happens in the blood when the body is exposed to toxic substances, in this case, the high levels of oxidized and trans fats, preservatives, additives, chemicals, and dyes found in fast food lunch. Here we see we've created blood sludge, clumped red blood cells, barely able to move through capillaries. You don't need to be a scientist to see they are too sick to be performing their normal functions. We all know prevention is the best cure, but in addition to eating the right foods, we need to supplement our diet, not only to ensure our cells are getting all the essential elements, but also to provide our cells with a greatly increased need to protect them from oxidative damage caused by our horrendously increased exposure to toxic free radicals today. Every free radical takes at least one antioxidant molecule to quench it. Since there are thousands and thousands of free radicals bombarding our cells constantly, large doses of antioxidants are necessary to prevent oxidative damage to those cells. The quantities needed are not provided in our diet today. We must supplement our nutritional intake to get the adequate amounts necessary to prevent and reverse the adverse effects of exposure to toxics.